welcome back to Sunday School. It's good to be back with all of you. We hope you're doing well and staying cool this week. Remember, in the next several days especially, drink lots of water. It's really important. We had a wonderful Pride Today celebration here in Albany. We had over 600 people from the community show up. It was really great. And huge thanks to all of those from our church that helped and worked really hard. We want to say a special thanks this week to Addie and Kennedy for being our acolytes last week, and to Clara and Alice for being the acolytes this week. You all did great. We want to thank Graham for doing communion. Thanks, Graham. And I want to take a moment just to thank Graham and Nancy and all of you who've stepped up this year to share your gifts these past 18 months to help create online Sunday School. It has been a joy to work with each of you, and thank you for all the love and care you've poured into Sunday School and to our lives. We're excited that in-person Sunday School starts up next Sunday, July 4th, 10 a.m. at the courthouse lawn. We hope you can join Graham and Nancy and I for Sunday School. We also I want to let you know that there will still be packets going out once a month now, not every week, but once a month to you in the first week of each month. Also, there will still be an online Sunday School story that will be recorded each week and uploaded so you all can see that as well. Today's ordinary person who changed the world is George Washington. George Washington was a political leader, a surveyor, a military officer, the commanding general of the Continental Army, a Freemason, and a member of the Anglican Church. He was also the chancellor of the College of William and Mary, the first president of our nation, and one of our founding fathers. We learn about him in history, and there's monuments, and he's on stamps, and even on our money. George Washington said, "Truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains taken to bring it to light." It is impossible to reason without arriving at a supreme being. And finally, he said, "Observe good faith and justice towards all nations. Cultivate peace and harmony with all." The scripture this morning is Romans 12:16 through 18, and it says this: "Live together in peace with each other. Do not be proud, but make friends with those who are often overlooked. Do not think yourself better than others. And if someone does wrong to you, don't pay them back by doing wrong to them. Try to do what's right." As we head into Sunday School, may we, like George Washington, be leaders. May we be people who strive for justice, who live lives of faith, working to cultivate peace and harmony with others.
Here's this week's quiz. Billie Jean King grew up playing tennis in what state? A, Alabama, B, California, or C, Massachusetts? Announce your answer. The correct answer is B, California. In a historic match titled The Battle of the Sexes, Billie Jean King won $100,000 by beating A, Andre Agassi, B, Jimmy Connors, or C, Bobby Riggs. Your answer? The correct answer is C, Bobby Riggs. In addition to her many tennis championships, Billie Jean King remains a champion of A, chess, B, equality, C, Fortnite. Your answer? The correct answer is B, equality. Thanks for taking the quiz. I am George Washington. I grew up in a place called Mount Vernon, and people will tell you that I was a perfect boy. They'll say that I didn't tell a lie after I chopped down a cherry tree. But that cherry tree story isn't true. Like most boys back then, I liked swimming, fishing, and riding horses. I was a decent athlete, but nothing spectacular. Mostly, I was an ordinary kid. I liked books, and I even liked to dance. I was great at it. In school, my best subject was math. I was pretty good at writing, but I was always a terrible speller. Soon, though, I saw how life could be uncertain. When I was 11, my dad died. We couldn't afford proper schooling, so my brothers had to teach me at home. I didn't go to high school or college, but I was committed to learning and building myself. When I turned 15, my mother told me I needed to get a job. Since I was good at math and precision, I became a surveyor, someone who explores large areas of land to find their boundaries. Well, the rain was fierce, and one night the straw mat I was sleeping on caught fire. The next night it was even harder, but we kept going. There was something special in treading a new path, something beautiful in doing what no one had ever done before. Just being around the Fairfaxes changed my life. They helped me get work. I observed how they lived, how they dressed, and how they ate. I even learned how to properly dance. At the Fairfaxes, I ate with fine silver and beautiful china. At home, I ate with sticks at a fire. It was as if I was living in two worlds, but to me, both were equally important. When I got older, I joined the military. In my first big battle, I was on the British side fighting against the French and Native Americans. We lost the battle, but I became commander of all of Virginia's fighting forces. At the age of 20, I ran for office to be a member of the House of the Virginia Legislature. I lost. That's right, I lost. It didn't stop me. I tried again, and this time I won. In fact, I won re-election every time after that. But the world as I knew it was about to change. Remember, when I was growing up, the United States didn't exist yet. Back then, we were no states, just colonies, all of them controlled by England. We were ruled by the British king named George II. He wants us to pay more for everything, things like stamps and tea. The king is unfair. We deserve to be free. In April 1775, the first shots were fired in Massachusetts, in Lexington and Concord. It took 8 days for the news of this new American Revolution to reach me. Are we going to let the colonists in Massachusetts fight alone, or are we going to join them? It was one of the biggest questions in history. The answer came at a meeting called the Second Continental Congress. Our 13 colonies decided we would fight together against King George III. All we needed was a leader for the battle. Guess who they chose as the leader? You look like you're in charge, George. Some say it was because I was a natural leader. Some say it was simply because I was taller than everyone else. But let me tell you a secret. I was the only one wearing a military uniform. It wasn't an accident. On that day, I came ready to lead, ready to do the job, ready to be first. Was it easy to be in power? Never. Our side did not have enough food, clothing, or weapons. Their side was well fed and well armed. Our side didn't have trained soldiers. We were farmers and fishermen. Their side was the greatest fighting force in the world. In the winter at Valley Forge, some of our troops didn't eat for days. They wore rags and had to go barefoot in the snow. So how did we win? We were smarter. We wrote plans in invisible ink so the British couldn't read them. Cool, right? Invisible ink. My code name was 711. We were sneakier. We launched surprise raids like this one where we crossed the Delaware River. They were fighting for a king. We were fighting for a cause, for freedom. Also, let's not forget, we had a weapon they'd never have. We had General George Washington. Most important, we wouldn't give in. After we beat the British Army, a new government was formed. I presided over the convention that wrote our Constitution, which created the new laws for our country. The brand new United States of America was free to explore its own future. Now, all we needed was to pick our first president, someone brave, someone strong, someone trustworthy enough to handle all that power. Again, guess who they chose? You know, you're so popular, George, you could have made yourself King of America. Yes, I know. At the end of the American Revolution, King George II asked someone what Washington planned to do after the war. The king was told that George was going to return to his farm. If he does that, King George said, he will be the greatest man in the world. And that's exactly what he did. And he did it again when he left the presidency after his second term. Some say it was my most heroic act, being president. Instead of putting myself first, I put my faith in my country. I put my faith in you. In life, there are many ways to lead. You can be a quiet leader, a tough leader, a bold leader. But leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. When you're in a position of power, always look out for those who put their faith in you. And always forge your own road, because sometimes the most important trail is the one no one has ever taken before. When you do these things, you will clear a path that will lead the way for others. Every year we celebrate his birthday. President's Day is a national holiday. He's got the only state named after a president. He was even on one of the country's first postage stamps. People think he wore a wig, but he never did. He powdered his hair white, which was the style back then. I just like that he wore fake teeth. They weren't made of wood, though. They were ivory. Oh, gross. You can see them at Mount Vernon. Leadership doesn't come from charisma or personality. It comes from courage. The courage to do what's right. The courage to serve others. The courage to go first. I am George Washington. Today they call me the father of our country. I have the courage to do what no one's done before. Hi, we're gathered in my backyard for communion. And one thing we've learned in the last year is that you can really do communion just about anywhere. We've seen you do it in your front yard, and some of you in your backyard. We've done it in our living room. We've done it in the kitchen. Jesus gathered with his disciples in the upper room in Jerusalem. And then next week, we're going to be doing communion on the courthouse lawn. It's just important to gather, and I sure look forward to seeing you all in person next week. So we remember those words. It's a time to come together, remember the words and the deeds of Jesus. And on that night, he took the bread and broke it, blessed it, said, "Take, eat, this is my body broken for you." And he took the juice, and he said, "This is the blood of the new covenant, poured out for many. Do this in remembrance of me."
Today's story is about George Washington, who teaches us that leadership comes from the courage to do what is right, to serve others, and to take the first steps as a leader. Take time this week to ponder what it takes to act with courage. We look forward to seeing you in person in 1 week on Sunday, July 4th.